Did you know the US 5-cent coin isn't even made of just nickel? It's actually 75% copper and only 25% nickel. And check this out, the rarest nickel, the 1913 Liberty Head, sold for over $4 million at auction. Only 5 of them exist in the world. Next time you see a nickel, flip it over. You might just be holding a tiny treasure in your pocket. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Top 1. If I told you that one special 5-cent coin, the 1974 Jefferson nickel, could secretly be worth up to $65,000, yes, $65,000, all from a coin that almost everyone overlooks. The story of the 1974 nickel is not about age. After all, 1974 wasn't that long ago in the world of coin collecting. The real secret lies in the rare mistakes, the minting errors, and the extraordinary condition of a few surviving coins. Collectors around the world are obsessed with finding these hidden gems. One of the biggest features that makes a 1974 nickel valuable is something called full steps. On the back of every Jefferson nickel is Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's famous home. Right at the bottom of Monticello, there's a staircase. Most nickels, because of worn-out dies or rushed minting, show the steps blurred or barely visible. But in some rare cases, the steps are perfectly struck, clean, sharp, and complete. If you can count at least 5 or 6 distinct steps without any interruptions, you're looking at a full steps nickel. Finding a full steps 1974 Jefferson nickel instantly boosts its value, and if it's graded in near-perfect condition, it can bring in jaw-dropping amounts. One such coin sold for a staggering $65,000 at auction, simply because it was flawless and had those rare, perfect steps. But that's not all. Errors also make the 1974 nickel a prize. Imagine finding a nickel with an off-center stripe, where the design is shifted, or a double die error, where the images are slightly doubled, making it look almost ghostly. Some coins were even struck on the wrong planchets, meaning the metal blank meant for another coin was used by mistake. These bizarre errors aren't just cool to look at, they make the coin astronomically valuable to collectors. There's also the condition factor. Coins that have been kept untouched, shiny, and clean, what experts call mint state, are worth far more than coins that have been circulated and worn down. Even tiny differences, like a sharper strike or a brighter shine, can add thousands of dollars in value. Think about how many nickels you've handled in your life. How many were tossed aside without a second glance, somewhere out there, sitting in an old piggy bank, tucked away in a forgotten drawer, or even hiding among your everyday pocket change. Could be a 1974 nickel worth a fortune. Finding one might feel like finding a needle in a haystack, but it happens. Ordinary people, with no special training, have stumbled across valuable coins before. It just takes a few seconds to check. Flip the nickel over. Look at Monticello. Can you see all the steps clearly? Does the coin look strangely off-centered or have doubled images? Is the shine and detail still strong, almost brand new? If you spot any of these signs, you could be holding a coin worth thousands, or even $65,000 in your hand. The best part, you don't need to buy anything, travel anywhere, or spend any money. Your hidden treasure could already be sitting in a dusty jar at home, waiting for you to discover it.so. Before you ignore the next handful of change you get, take a second look. That simple 5-cent coin could be the key to your next big payday. And remember, history often hides in the most ordinary places. Top 2. Most people never look twice at a 5-cent coin. It's just a nickel, small, common, and often forgotten. But what if I told you that a simple 1980 Jefferson nickel could be worth up to $57,000, yes, $57,000, hiding in your change, your drawer, or even in your pocket right now? The 1980 nickel isn't rare just because of its year. What makes it special is a combination of minting mistakes and perfect preservation. The right 1980 nickel, with the right flaws or the right flawless features, can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. One key thing collectors look for is the legendary full steps on Monticello. On the back of the Jefferson nickel is an image of Jefferson's grand estate. At the bottom of that building are a series of steps, tiny, delicate details. Most nickels, they're too worn out or poorly struck to show them clearly. But if you find a 1980 nickel where every single step is perfectly visible, sharp, and uninterrupted, you have something incredibly rare, something collectors will pay big money for. But full steps alone aren't the only way the 1980 nickel becomes a jackpot. there are also error coins. Some 1980 nickels were struck off-center, leaving part of the design missing. Others were hit twice, creating a fascinating double image known as a double die. There are even cases where nickels were mistakenly struck on the wrong type of metal, giving them an unusual color, weight, or sound. Each of these mistakes adds tremendous value. Combine a mint error with great condition. That's when prices go wild. Point 1 Pristine 1980 Jefferson nickel, graded in top condition with full steps and flawless surfaces, stunned collectors when it sold for $57,000 at a major auction. Point 1 coin, 5 cents, turned into enough money to buy a brand new car or even a house in some places. Think about that. How many nickels pass through your hands every month, every year? How many old jars, old wallets, and coin piles are lying forgotten in your home? That fortune could be sitting right in front of you, and you wouldn't even know it unless you looked. Finding a rare 1980 nickel isn't impossible. It just takes a sharp eye and a little patience. Look for sharp, clean details on Monticello steps. Look for coins that seem strangely misaligned, doubled, or even slightly off color, and most importantly, keep your coins safe. Even a tiny scratch can lower the value by thousands of dollars. Every coin has a story, and some stories are worth more than you could ever imagine. So the next time you get a handful of change, stop, look carefully, because the next 5-cent coin you touch could be your ticket to $57,000. Follow for more hidden treasures, because the fortune you're dreaming of might just be in your own pocket. Top 3. If I told you that a simple 1995 Jefferson nickel could be worth up to $44,000, that's right. A coin worth just 5 cents could secretly be worth enough to change your life. The 1995 nickel might seem ordinary at first glance. After all, millions were made, but a small number of them were struck with rare, almost perfect features, and a few others were born with stunning minting errors that collectors are willing to pay huge money for. Point 1 of the biggest factors that adds massive value to a 1995 nickel is the full steps feature. Flip the nickel over and look at Monticello Jefferson's iconic home. At the bottom of the building, there's a tiny staircase. On most nickels, the steps are worn, flat, or blurred, but on a rare 1995 nickel, you might see every single step, sharply struck, clean, and without any interruptions. This rare detail is known as full steps, and it instantly makes the coin highly valuable. But that's just the beginning. Mint errors from 1995 make the nickel even more desirable. Imagine finding a 5-cent coin that's off-center, with part of the design missing, or one struck with a double die, where the images and lettering appear doubled. There are even rare cases of nickels struck on the wrong type of metal, making them lighter or heavier than normal. Collectors absolutely love these oddities because they're freak accidents, mistakes that slip past the mint's quality control. And when you combine a mint error with a coin in nearly flawless condition, that's when prices go through the roof. In fact, a 1995 Jefferson nickel in pristine, mint state condition, with sharp full steps and no signs of wear, once sold for an astonishing $44,000 at auction. A 5-cent coin turned into a small fortune. Think about it. How many times have you had a nickel in your hand and never bothered to look? How many old coins are sitting right now in your house, in a jar, a drawer, or a box, waiting to be discovered? It could be something as small as a slightly sharper design, a faint doubling of the date, or perfect steps on Monticello. It could be a coin you pick up in change at the gas station, a coin you thought was worthless, but with just a closer look, that same coin could be worth $44,000. Finding one isn't just a dream, it's happened before. Ordinary people, with no professional training, have found rare nickels hiding in everyday change. The treasure is out there, but only for those who know what to look for. So next time you're handed a nickel, don't just toss it aside. Flip it over, check those steps, look for unusual marks, off-center designs, or anything strange, because the next time you reach into your pocket, you might just pull out a fortune. Top 4. Most people don't even glance at nickels anymore. They're small, common, and usually forgotten at the bottom of pockets, drawers, or car seats. But what if I told you that one ordinary-looking 1996 Jefferson nickel could actually be worth up to $49,000? Yes, a simple 5-cent coin from 1996, not ancient, not rare by mintage numbers, but rare because of a few hidden secrets that only smart collectors know how to spot. It's not just about the year stamp on the coin. It's about condition, errors, and minting details that can turn an everyday nickel into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery point. One of the biggest factors collectors chase is the elusive full steps detail. Flip a Jefferson nickel over and look closely at Monticello, Jefferson's famous home. Right below the pillars, you'll see a staircase. On most nickels, those steps are faint, worn down, or completely blurred out, but on rare nickels, including a few from 1996, those steps are perfectly struck, every step sharp, every line clear, no smudges or gaps. That full steps designation can skyrocket a coin's value instantly, but that's not all that makes the 1996 nickel special. Some coins were struck with mint errors, crazy mistakes like off-center strikes, where the design is shifted dramatically to one side, or double dice, where the images or letters look like they're shadowed or doubled. Sometimes, coins were even struck on the wrong metal, creating odd colors, strange textures, or unusual weights. These minting errors aren't just cool, they're extremely valuable. Collectors are willing to pay huge premiums for these rare mistakes, especially when the coin is still in mint state condition, untouched, flawless, with original shine. One such 1996 Jefferson nickel, with sharp full steps and near-perfect surfaces, shocked the collecting world when it sold for a massive $49,000 at auction. 5 cents turned into enough money to buy a luxury car or even make a down payment on a house. Think about that for a second. A coin you might overlook, toss aside, or spend without a thought could actually be worth a life-changing amount. And the best part, finding one doesn't require special equipment, years of experience, or a huge investment. It just takes curiosity and a sharp eye. The next handful of change you get back from the store, the old coin jar collecting dust on your shelf, the forgotten piggy bank from your childhood. One of them might be hiding a 1996 nickel worth tens of thousands of dollars. All you have to do is flip the coin, look closely at Monticello, check the steps, scan for unusual designs or striking errors. That small moment of attention could reveal a hidden treasure, one that most people will never even realize they had. Rare finds happen when you least expect them. One tiny coin, one ordinary day, and your whole world could change. Don't miss your chance. Start checking your nickels, because your next big discovery could be hiding in the smallest place you never thought to look. Follow for more hidden coin stories, because sometimes, treasure doesn't come from digging, it comes from looking closer at what's already in your hands. Top 5. How often do you really look at the nickels you get in change? Most people don't. They toss them into jars, leave them in car cup holders, or let them pile up on countertops. But what if I told you that a simple 1998 Jefferson nickel could be worth up to $55,000? Yes, a regular-looking 5-cent coin from 1998, a coin millions of people handled without thinking, can today be worth enough to completely change someone's life. The secret isn't just in the year, the real value lies in a few critical details: rare minting errors, perfect condition, and the highly sought-after full steps. When you flip a Jefferson nickel over, you'll see Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's grand estate. At the bottom of Monticello, there's a staircase. Most nickels show these steps blurred, worn down, or completely faded, but a few rare 1998 nickels were struck so perfectly that you can see each individual step, sharp, clean, and uninterrupted. This perfect detail is called full steps, and it's one of the most important signs that you might be holding something incredibly valuable. But it gets even better. Some 1998 nickels have mint errors that are so rare, collectors will pay thousands, even tens of thousands, to own them. Imagine finding a nickel struck off-center, where part of the design is missing. Or a double die error, where the letters and numbers look shadowed or doubled. There are even nickels struck on the wrong type of metal, giving them strange colors, unusual weights, or unique textures. When you combine a mint error with full steps and near-perfect condition, known as mint state, the value skyrockets. One incredible example, a 1998 Jefferson nickel with flawless full steps and perfect luster sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $55,000. That's right, a coin worth just 5 cents when it was minted ended up being worth enough to pay for a brand new car, a dream vacation, or even help buy a home. Imagine how many nickels you've touched in your lifetime. How many have passed through your hands without you even glancing at them, one of them could have been worth tens of thousands, and you might have never even known. Finding a valuable 1998 nickel isn't just luck, it's about knowing what to look for every time you handle change. Take a moment, flip that nickel over, check the steps, look for any unusual doubling in the words or the date, notice if the coin looks slightly misaligned, thicker, or thinner than normal, because your next piece of change might not just be another coin, it could be your ticket to $55,000. The best treasures aren't always buried underground or hidden away. Sometimes they're sitting quietly in your pocket, waiting for you to notice. That don't miss the chance. Check your nickels, because history has a funny way of rewarding those who pay attention to the small things. Follow for more amazing hidden coin stories. The next big treasure could be right under your nose.